Welcome to Search Talk Live with search engine optimization and marketing experts Robert O'Haver and Caleb McKelvin, powered by the Robert Palmer family of companies.
Welcome back to another episode of Search Talk Live. My name is Robert O'Haver, and with me is my co-host Caleb McKelvin. Caleb, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, what's going on, Robert? It's Search Talk Live, man. I'm pumped for today's show. We got an awesome one.
Yeah, we have an awesome one every week.
We do have an awesome one every week, but I always get excited about the next one because the next one's just bigger and better. I love it.
Right. So, those of you tuning into Search Talk Live for the first time, I want to tell you a little bit about the show. We are on every Tuesday from 3:30 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time. We talk about everything: social media, search engine optimization,
content marketing,
paid
advertising.
Yes.
We got it all.
If it's digital marketing, we talk about it.
Absolutely.
And if we haven't talked about it yet and you'd like to hear it, please email the show and let us know, because we will do something about it.
Yeah.
We are booked up until October, so we won't have anything until after that. But
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. If there's something you want to talk about, you want to hear, if you have any questions for us or for a future guest, man, always drop us an email. Robert at Search Talk Live, Caleb at Search Talk Live. We love feedback from our listeners. It's awesome. It helps, in future shows. We'll try to address it immediately and let you know. But yeah,
we want to hear the negative stuff too. If you just think the show sucks, just let us know. Right. We'll try and make things better.
Yeah.
So anyway, also you can listen to us on iTunes, iHeartRadio nationally in the United States. If you go to iHeartRadio outside the United States, it's blocked. I don't know why. Don't ask me, but we are on iHeartRadio. Then you can go to where else? Spreaker, yeah. We get a lot of people listening to us there.
You can go to searchtalklive.com.
Yes, you can pick up previous episodes there. Yeah. You can see who's coming, and I would highly suggest that you sign up for our newsletter.
Absolutely.
We offer free things on the newsletter, things that are not offered to anybody else. We have guests that give away books and all kinds of stuff, and you also, can get up-to-date information on what's coming as far as Search Talk Live, maybe merchandise or something. Who knows?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows what we have in store at Search Talk Live?
Yeah. So today we're going to talk about local guides, something I don't know a lot about. And you've heard of Google My Business. This is a little different. We're going to learn today. So I'm going in totally blind with this. And our guest today is an expert, and he's a TC in the Google product forms, search forms, and can give us a lot of insight today. And today our guest is William Rock. William, how's it going, man?
Hey, guys. This is awesome. Great introduction, and excited to be on the show.
Thank you.
Great. Hey, William, if you could, just for our listeners, kind of introduce yourself, who you are, what you're about, what you've been up to.
Sure. I'm William Rock. I've been doing internet marketing since 1998, at least following Google since it had a domain, and helping clients onboard their companies and try to learn how to do conversion analytics for the most part. I'm a top contributor at Web Search. I'm based out of Kansas City, and really addicted to this Google Local Guides program.
Nice. We can't wait to hear about it and dig into it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, Google Local Guide, I know people will probably look at that and like, okay, well, I know, Google Local, my business listing and all that kind of stuff. Well, this is kind of different. What actually is the Google Local Guide program? Google. Yeah. What is the Google Local Guide program? What's it all about?
It's a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And what it's primarily, it's a global group of basically explorers. You take a look at people that, travel on their jobs or whatever, and you see a whole bunch of people like reviewing restaurants, right? Mm-hmm. Or even taking pictures of their food. Right. Yeah. And in the restaurant, you're like, what are those guys doing?
Right.
And that's kind of what it is all of a sudden you're inside a restaurant. Well, that restaurant is, listed on Google Maps. Somehow you got there with, the address and then you took directions to that place. But then when you got there and had the great experience, you're probably going to say, oh yeah, this was awesome. Or all of a sudden they come out with a great burger and fries and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks good. Yeah. And it's like one of those things you want to take a picture of and share with your friends. Same thing, right? But you're putting it actually out on so when you guys go out on Google or even just go to the map listing, you see images out there, right?
Right.
picture of their storefront, maybe some pictures of their food, and then you go through and you look at the reviews and go, hey, I'm going to take my kids there or my wife there, or I'm going to go out for business. And so basically you've kind of done your research before you got there.
Yeah, one thing I've found too, probably in the last 4 months, I'd say, Google has been really good at getting the geolocation. So when you're in that restaurant, that review thing pops up, which is fantastic because that was something that was really hard to get somebody to give a review if they have to search for it. But now it's right there in their face when they're in the restaurant if they're listed in the Google My Business, which is huge.
Right. And if you're actually in the map application on your smartphone from either iOS or Android, you can just basically hit that little my location, so that little circle icon, and they'll tell you exactly where you're at. And you're like, oh, I'm at this restaurant. Click on that listing, and then it opens up that map result. And that's kind of what we're talking about today is, people go, oh, the Google Local Guide Program, what is that? But then it's also tied back into your business. So, they're going to give you a good review or they're going to give you a bad review.
Right.
Yeah, not to get off on a rant here, but I do want to stress the importance of a local business using Google My Business because it is everything.
Yes, it is.
I'm not going to cut anything off because I know you're probably going to go into that stuff too. But
Yes, that's a huge part of it. Well, I mean, as far as the local guides, I mean, it's just this all about making the local search, kind of the local environment, everything you have going on locally. It's just about making that experience better, about finding what you need, really kind of honing in on giving the user the best experience and really going towards exactly what they're looking for.
Yeah, we're not just talking about restaurants here.
Yeah.
It's everything. Any business you're in needs to be listed. I don't care if you're in a mall. You need to be listed on local Google My Business.
And that's that. I'm glad you brought that part up. A mall, right? And you'd think even a shopping mall, right? You go to the grocery store, and there's stores around that grocery store area, right? So that whole area has got businesses, local businesses that all need to be, verified by the Google Map list or by Google My Business. But at the same time, is like what I've been doing is I've challenged myself to actually study all the different local areas around me, right? And say, okay, I'm going to take pictures of all of the stores and also the businesses. But I found out of about 2 to 3 out of 10 photos I take, about 2 to 3 of those are
women. No, just kidding.
not businesses, and that's kind of really sad. And that's where I think that we can really we'll dive into with the Chamber of Commerce's inside.
Right.
Education, I think, is going to be key for some of these business owners, and They unlock the values of a simple review. If they got a review from a local guide, could they respond to that? Maybe it was a good review, and they want to go, "Hey, thanks so much for coming out to our, location." Maybe it was a pool table venue, not even a restaurant. It's like, okay, it was right next to the restaurant, but you guys went out afterwards and went to play pool.
Yeah.
Or an arcade, whatever it might have been that you guys wouldn't travel to. But then you also have that follow through. The people are actually leaving these reviews, but as a business owner, you want to be able to communicate with that audience at the local level and be able to, especially if it's a bad review, how do you address that one? Or if your business is not claimed and you have a bad review or you have a lot of bad reviews, you're just kind of flying blind with your business on Google Maps.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the thing is the local guide, being a part of this local guide as a local business, is this how you're going to maybe find those areas that you're missing, what you're lacking, how you're not interacting with your local audience? Is this going to help bring those things to light so you can make those corrections and move forward?
I think so, because you're going to have people that are visiting your map profile on their mobile or the desktop. They are going to come into your business and say, hey, by the way, that photo you had of your front store, or even what called me into your grocery store was the organic aisle. Somebody took a picture of your organic aisle, and I was out of town and I didn't know if you had that, but thank you for having that picture.
Yeah,
it's a world difference. Think
right.
about the traveler that's flying across from state to state. They don't know what's going out there.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I'd like to add. I mean, a large part of it, and I can vouch for this too, is people on their mobile phones. They're like, okay, where can I eat? They're going to do that local search for, okay, give me Italian restaurants in the area. They're going to get those, those kind of things you're going to see. And one thing a lot of business owners make mistake-wise, is they set up their profile in their business and then they leave it. They don't do anything with it. They need to be going back on at least a weekly basis, or maybe 4 times a month or whatever, and reading those reviews, because if you get a bad review, you can reply to that, and it will make your business look like you care, because if you're responding to those replies that are bad, maybe you offer them a discount on a next meal to give you another chance, or whatever it may be. That might be something you take offline, but definitely keep on those reviews and reply to them, and so other people see that you actually care about your patrons.
Absolutely, and I use that. In fact, I used that into one of today's meetings with a sales staff. We were going through our monthly reports, and we went through not only the analytics or Search Console, but we go through the actual Google My Business, and I'm using like GoToMeeting, so they can see my screen. They're engaging me through phone, but at the end of the day, they're going, okay, I just got a new review. Oh, cool! And that sales representative is going to jump in there and help with that review, and then it adds that personal touch. It's not that corporate robot stuff.
Yeah.
So explain this to me, William. When you're going out and taking pictures of businesses, what is the purpose of that?
The purpose, so for my starting out, I was actually just walking my neighborhood, right? So I'd take a daily walk, at a certain time, and I found out about the local guide program, and I started taking pictures, right? I'm like, okay, so what it meant to me is learning the environment first. But at the end, it's like, oh my gosh, nobody that I'm taking pictures of actually have anything that's quality. It's all blurry, or it's pulled from their website, so they haven't really touched their listing. So it's a good thing I took the picture.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll put that up there. It's an HDR plus. It's coming from my Nexus 6.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I'm not like taking a professional camera out and taking a picture. I'm just taking my cell phone and taking a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And basically then I go and put it up on the internet if they don't have anything that's valuable. But going back to what do I look for in that picture?
Yeah.
I like, in Kansas City, especially about this time of year, I'm looking for clouds, really fluffy clouds shots. And I won't go out on rainy days.
Right.
Only because, it's a kind of a gloomy thing to your business, and that lighting is kind of off.
Sure.
Or I'll go, like lately I've been doing corporate buildings. So not just like the storefronts, but the corporate building, the huge, gigantic things.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at, the lighting again, but the angle, taking a couple different shots and not putting all of those shots up there, but going back into Google Photo and, utilizing the auto filter. So basically just like Photoshop, and it just basically cleans it all up with HDR. And you get back and choose what images you want before you go and upload it. And then I look at it as, if I was the business owner or the marketer, what would I want to be having up on my Google Plus or my Google Map page?
Yeah.
Is it presentable, or is it just, I just did this because I needed to do it?
Right.
So anybody can go and take pictures of a business and add it to that profile, or?
They can after that. It's now in beta. It was in beta for a while. Like I said, the first time I learned about it was when I was down in Mountain View for the Top Contributor Summit in October. And one of my friends came up to me, and she had this new badge on her Google Plus profile. And I was like, what is that badge? And she was telling me about this Google Local Guides program. I'm like, oh, cool. So you're going to be with us next year in the TC program then next, right? She's working on it. She's definitely working on that.
Yeah.
So sorry.
No, I was just going to say, some people might be listening, some local business owners. Is there a way they have to get involved with the program, with the local guide program? Is there steps they need to take? Are they automatically enrolled that if they, have a business listing? How do they get involved with that? And really, how important is it that they are involved with this program to maximize the benefits?
Okay. Yeah. I would probably say that the owner is probably not going to have a lot of need for it, or they need to have need for it, but it's not like they're going to just call a local guide up and say, hey, come take pictures of my stuff.
Yeah.
It's as we walk by your place, as we experience it. Think about it like some of the new entrepreneur type startups that, you got the chain, and it's, they've got a way of process.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Well, how the process that I'm looking at is they study the employees by having them randomly picked. Or I'll just go through the line. I'll order something, And then based off of the score, they either get a raise or they don't, right? So there's a new process. I've just been watching some of these entrepreneur guys, startup companies that are just fantastic on employee retention. And then that goes right back to your customer service. So if you're getting the good reviews, again, thank them. But at the same time, as you're probably just going to get visited by a local guide. There's so many of us out there. Yeah.
So this is where the question comes in. What's the difference between Google My Business and local guides? Local guides is, my understanding is, it's a person that says, "Hey, I want to help out," and goes around and gets pictures and information about businesses. Correct?
And also modifies the listing too. So there might be missing information like your website or your business hours, and they're going to go back onto and find, do the research, find your website, and then add that to the listing. So, again, going back to verifying, the small business owner needs to go back to the Google My Business. That's where everything happens on the business side.
Right.
And the Google Local Guides is a separate program altogether. It's more to actually spur up interest out there, I think. And everybody, like I said, has a different thing that they're doing. Sometimes they might be actually just the person that's reviewing on the other end one of the local guides' map edits. Like, for example, I might put hours operation and a website in there. Well, that still has to go through a manual process.
Right.
There still has to be a verifier expert on the other end that says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do the secondary research and I approve," and then that edit goes live, because otherwise you can get out of control pretty quick.
So I see an issue here. Like, do you have to be a local guide rep to be able to go in and add websites and add stuff like that?
No, not anymore. Basically, everybody can actually go and do that. So, if you go out to the restaurant tonight with your wife and family, and say, for example, you wanted to take a picture, so you took a picture of your food, then you're going out to the Google Map listing for that restaurant, and you just basically go up to where it says pictures or photos, and when you click on that, it says, "Do you want to add a photo?" Right below the pictures, you'll see "Add Photo," and so you'll click on that button, and it asks you, where do you want to get that photo from? Your computer, somewhere on your drive, or from your smartphone. But that's the beauty of Google Photos.
But doesn't that open you up to, like, your competition going in and saying, "Oh, your website address is really this," and it points to their address?
Yes, yeah, and I've been looking at that as well. And there's actually a huge team on the back end looking at that, and have already started to fix that. And that was pre-done way back in the beta stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and there's also moderators out there. Like I said, an edit won't go live until
okay.
Double verifies it.
Right.
And basically what happens on that, you probably heard of Google Map Maker.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's verified map maker experts on that level, and you'll start to see, if you look at, just type in Google Map Maker, you can see like people commenting, reviewing, "Oh, this looks like it's spam, it got denied," and so they'll just flip the denied button on it, and it'll go into a different queue.
Gotcha.
And I'm still learning the map maker side, but that's what I like to do. Is if I'm helping promote businesses on local in Google My Business, which I do, I'm also trying to figure out, okay, what's the future of the tool?
Yeah.
What are they looking at in the UX components, eventually in maps, to also, if I can just add a picture of my competitor, that's awesome. I can probably totally just create something in Photoshop and have something that's really slamming my competitor, and they're not going to know it because they're probably not paying attention to their map listing every month.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
You're good. I was just going to say, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Search Talk Live with hosts Robert O'Haver and Caleb McKelvin. We are sponsored by the Robert Palmer family of companies. You can visit robertpalmercompanies.com. We are talking Google Local Guides with William Rock, a Google top contributor, a local guide, a Google Plus community moderator. We're talking Google Local Guides. If you want to get your questions in, you can email us, Robert at Search Talk Live, Caleb at Search Talk Live, and we are on Twitter as well.
Hashtag Search Talk Live.
Yeah, hashtag Search Talk Live, or you can tweet right at us at Search Talk Live, and we'll get your questions on air for William.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to add to that is our phones are down right now because we moved studios. We're in a nicer studio.
Yeah.
So hold your calls.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully have that up next week, but because our number's all over the website, I'm sure people are calling. So
Right.
Unfortunately, You can't call in.
No calls, but you can hit us up on Twitter or email. William, now let's kind of talk about, because this all goes back to kind of, not necessarily local SEO, but the importance of having kind of accurate information as a local business. Can you kind of talk about, the importance of that and really kind of why that's going to be so crucial for your business, especially for your local audience?
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought that up, because I actually experienced this a few times where you end up either on the weekend or even the daytime. You're looking for a specific place. You're going, okay, their hours of operation is from this time to this time. You make it all your meetings throughout the day, and you go, okay, I've got enough time to put this in my schedule to go to here to here to here.
Right.
When you get there, they're not even in business.
Yeah.
Or they're not open because the hours of operation is actually incorrect on the map listing.
Right.
And so that is, as a local guide, you go back to it and say, okay, I just showed up to this location and it shows on the door hours of operation, right? And then I go on the map and go, oh, that's kind of wrong. So then I can correct that, and it goes back into that audit pool where they can go back and verify that I just changed their address. As long as it's on their website, I can go verify that, okay, perfect, that address is there on the window and on their website. The verifier is going to look at that same thing, and then basically now that's corrected for all the rest of the people. They're going to make that same mistake. And then you lessen the load as the business, because now you don't have a frustrated person by the time they got to your business, because the map actually gave them a headache.
Right. You want to talk about easily losing a customer, a loyal customer, is having wrong information or messing their day up in some way. That word of mouth is going to spread real quick.
I can vouch for that, because I was at going to a restaurant for lunch one day about a month ago. Got to the location, they moved.
Yeah.
And they didn't change their information. I'm like, oh my God.
Right.
And that's another thing that I've been doing. When I go around the mall, per se, and I find a closed business, I'll take a picture of that business, and then I'll go back and just verify that address listing. Mm-hmm. And if it basically does not say permanently closed or moved, then I'll put a notation in there that says possibly moved locations, because I don't know if they're permanently closed. But at least it tags it for other opportunities. They're like, oh, for me, the DMV was in a mall that was not even in business anymore. I got to a mall. I'll tell you a little quick story. I went to get my driver's license renewed, right? And so I went over, and the DMV was in this mall. And I got to the mall, and the mall was all boarded up. There was nothing there.
Oh, wow.
Ghost town almost, right? And so I'm looking on Google Maps and going, okay, where else would it be? And so I called the number, and finally I got over to the DMV people, and they said, oh, yeah, we're just down on this address. So they had to give me the physical address. And then, at that point, when I got there, the lady goes, I'm glad that you found us, but we still have that same address over there since December. Is there anything you can do about that? And I said, well, yeah, when I get home, I already took a picture of your outside of your building, and when I get home, I'll mark that one as moved, and it shouldn't take effect within a couple days. And she goes, oh my gosh, you wouldn't imagine the stress level that will go around, lack of stress now with the DMV office. It's already stressful when you get in there, but
right.
When everybody's stressed out because everybody's coming in there going, hey, you sent me the wrong address, and now I'm here an hour later.
Right.
I thought you were going to say, well, for just 10 payments of no.
No, that's what we do as guides, is we find the wrong problem.
Sure.
And we fix it.
Yeah.
And that's open to anybody. There's a program that goes level 1, 2, 3, and 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, and 5. 1 through 5. And 5 is basically the top level. You get about 500 points. And what you're doing in that system is really going after, each point is like one photo is a point, an edit is 1 point, and a review is another point. So basically, it's kind of a goal system.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
That works for the average person too. There's nothing out there. They're not SEOs or they're not marketers or anything else like that. They're just average people.
Yeah.
Right.
And fixing a listing.
So we keep doing that.
I know, we keep doing that. We were just all about learning today. Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you go last time. So what business owners need to understand is, consider Google My Business or Google businesses, the extension of your website.
Yeah.
It needs to be as accurate as possible and add as many photos and dress it up as much as you possibly can with a good description of what your website is all about. So people can look at your reviews and get information on your business. I mean, it's extremely important. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You literally, in local search results, if you see it, it takes up half of the SERPs, the search engine results with businesses. The better you build that up and the more attention you pay to it, it's going to pay you back.
Right.
And it costs you nothing.
They can only help you.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yes. Yeah. Best price ever.
Yes.
Well, I mean,
at the same time as with you, if you move, those same images, if you move locations, remove those images from your listings so that people aren't confused when they get there going, oh, I see the building, but it has a whole bunch of boards in the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is it shocking to you, William? They obviously have this program because this is an issue where local businesses, they don't have the right information. They're not updating this. Is it just, I mean, you have to walk around or all the time see misinformation or missing information. Is it shocking to you how much you come across?
It is shocking, but I look at it as an extension. If you look at what the Google car has done, it's basically the street view.
Yeah.
Right? And they've been able to go through every one of the businesses, and whoever businesses are not listed, the camera can zoom into the address, and it's high resolution enough that it still looks real clean.
Right.
But it is shocking to me to see how many businesses are not actually taking advantage of this, right? And that's worldwide. It's not just. And I did a small test here, and I've taken pictures of now 700 companies in just Overland Park.
Wow.
And I just do it on Saturday. So basically I'll take my daughter, drop her off at work, 8 o'clock, and then from 8:15, 8:30, I'll continue to kind of go until about 9:30, and I'll see how many listings I can hit, or how many images I can hit with companies, and just take pictures of them, right? And then I'll come back and I'll upload them, and I'll just do the rest of the things for the rest of the day. But then when I'm going back at nighttime or whatever, going, wow, they're still not verified. And what I do is in Maps, there's a little thing called a star or a save icon, right? So it's a star. I just star it for later because I want to eventually go back to all the people that I've starred, which basically has haven't claimed their business, and somehow reach them and say, hey, either here's that postcard or through the Chamber of Commerce, here's the people I've actually seen in your Chamber of Commerce that are still not listed. Can I just give you guys this postcard and you can give it to the business owner? And then now we have like a worldwide fix, I think.
Yeah.
So,
all right. So if anybody wants to become a Local Guides rep, what are the steps they need to take?
It's not really a rep. I mean, basically you're going to be a guide, right?
Okay.
So, you go out to just type in Google Local Guides. You go out to the main website and learn about it. There's actually a map up there of local communities. So Google Plus, it's like unofficial and official communities. And so you can click on each one. Like, so you just go in your area and you look to see what's around you, and then you can join the community and then learn what they're doing. And at the same time as you might actually find other photographers that you might like, wow, different things that people do, and just find a hobby of what you want to do. Like I said, some people are just doing reviews and they become a local guide. Some of them are doing edits and they become a local guide. Some of them are just taking pictures.
Gotcha.
Or others are doing all of the above.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now, before we move on, William, one thing that I want to touch on, because I've had questions about it, I've read a lot of user questions, is the review portion of your local listings, of your Google My Business. How important are those? Some people rely heavily on them, thinking they have to get them. Some people really don't care if they have a review or not, or maybe they don't want them because they know they'll be bad. But, how important are those reviews? What does it play as far as, your search, showing up in search? Does it play at all? But as far as your users go, how important are those reviews for your business?
If you followed me at all on Google Plus, LinkedIn, or Twitter, or anywhere else, my big thing is my focus is user experience.
Yeah.
And that's first and foremost. And I teach that to even my clients. It's not really about, yeah, we're going to show up in there in that listing regardless. Because we're going to be the authority in that area. If it's from a local plumber or an attorney, or it might be, a large telecom per se. But at the same time, is they all have to work with their user experience in different ways. So how are they going to respond to those reviews? Do they need the reviews? Sometimes they don't. But I wouldn't look at it as an SEO make or break thing.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to if I'm going to buy, my Nexus 6 phone case from Ballistic, I'm going to do the research on it, and I'm going to try to find the lowest price of it, and then I'm also going to go back into that lowest price person and look at the reviews. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to the habit of the shopper.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think I read a statistic for a presentation that we did where I think it was 88% of users kind of trust those online reviews, their peers, and what they're saying about a product or a service. So I think that's going to be heavy in the research portion of it, and really in the decision making.
Yeah, well, it's a research and decision making. I mean, if I'm looking at a parts washer per se, industrial parts washer, that's going to be an expensive thing. I'm going to look at least $20,000, if not more. So I'm going to do my research on who I'm going to work with, but I'm also going to look at different reviews of how that other companies had looked at this person or this company that's actually helping.
Yeah.
Or the same thing with a local plumber. Did the guy do a good job, or did he break more stuff?
Yeah. All right, you're listening to Search Talk Live with our guest William Rock, Caleb McKelvin, and our guest William Rock. I screwed that up.
Yeah.
We are sponsored by the Robert Palmer family of companies. Go to PalmerCompanies.com.
Yes, RobertPalmerCompanies.com.
God.
Yeah, no, just tongue twisted today.
Yeah.
That's all. There's a lot of cool things to check out there. I definitely highly advise you to go check them out. RobertPalmerCompanies.com. Like Robert said, we are joined by William Rock today, a Google local guide, a Google top contributor, which is pretty awesome. Community moderator. He is all of the above, and we're talking local guides today. We'd also like to touch on.
Yeah, I want to use this last half.
We'd definitely like to touch on the fact that you're a Google top contributor. I mean, that's pretty cool. What's that program all about? For those that don't know much about it, or how to access that, what's going on there?
Sure. Let me give you a little history first on that. I started when Google Panda came out, in about 2011, 2012. I was kind of having questions of my own, working into a local company that was just in-house. And I had questions, right? So I went out to the Google forums and webmasters and asked questions about duplicate content to everything we do as search marketers, right?
Yeah.
And so I got kind of addicted of asking the questions and getting help, which was nice. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, as I felt I could answer some of those questions that people were asking too. And so I started participating in that, and more or less in about 2012 is when I came around with it. But with top contributors, it's a program that people are actually sharing their expert knowledge for free as kind of a donation. We just go out and help people answer their questions and try to answer it the best we can possibly do. We're not paid customer service reps. We're not service reps. That's all. We are just out there helping the business owners. So like, for example, we've been talking about Google local business stuff, right? So a lot of people come out in the forums, and especially in Google Webmaster Search, Web Search. See, now you guys got me doing something. With Web Search, we're kind of like the fire hose of all the questions coming in, and what we do is we direct the people to the forum sections. Like, for example, they came in for Google My Business question. If we're not actually able, if our group is not at that level of being able to answer the question, we're going to be able to forward that over to the Google My Business team, and then they continue to work on that with the user all the way to finish the problem. And a lot of those questions are the same thing. As I can't change my telephone number, or I move location and it still shows my old one. Stuff like that, and that's where they're coming in and asking the questions in the forums. And so top contributors there, not that we answer all the top posts, like hundreds of thousands of these things. It's more quality of our education, the level of skill set that we provide, And the teams that also were involved are what's called the Rising Stars too. So a Rising Star is a badge right before. So people like myself, when I first got into the community, I was asking questions, and then I started answering questions. And so there's levels. You go from like level 1 starting out for your first question, and then you kind of move up to about a level 10. And then if a top contributor or a community manager in Google sees that, hey, somebody's doing a really kick-butt job answering these questions, and maybe we want to actually promote them to a Rising Star, and they come into our other queue where they have levels where they can ask more questions. Where there might be a technical level that they want to learn, and so they're asking another top contributor, so say, and kind of like mentoring from them. Mm-hmm. It's kind of
So, but this is a Google sanctioned kind of. I know you're not get paid by Google to do this, but it is supported by Google as you being a TC or top contributor.
Yeah, and I think the perks that we get out of that is, they send us down to I just become a TC in October,
right?
And so I've been working on it since 2012, and I finally got to a top contributor. So it's not easy to get.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they actually sent us down to Mountain View, and I got a chance to chat with some of the engineers that I had worked with in the past, or people that I had chatted with in the forums, and finally had like an in real life opportunity with them.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's real neat.
Just like what we would do at like Webmaster World, or so PubCon or SMX. We're hanging out with them, having a beer in the afternoon, stuff like that. And at that point, I think, just like in any conference, after hours, you're talking with other TCs, you really kind of find out a lot of stuff you might have not known, or interested. Oh, that's a cool program I didn't know about that I'd be interested in learning more about it.
Yeah.
And just for the listeners, there's a TC for pretty much everything. So there's search, there's listing guide, the listing, Google My Business. I can't talk. I don't know what's wrong with me today.
Now, yeah.
Mobile.
Yep.
All that stuff. I mean, you just, whatever you need, there's someone there to support you.
Excellent resource to really get some awesome information.
And I'll give you a little secret. If you're an SEO or someone in the search industry or paid, I recommend you volunteering and going in, or at least going into the forum and read comments and read what the TCs are leaving as answers after the questions. Because let me tell you, I went in, I was going to strive to be a TC. I just don't have the time. But going in, and I was warned ahead of time, Matt Storms, one of the other TCs, had said, hey, man, you're going to see things you've never seen before. And I was kind of cocky. I was like, there ain't nothing I haven't seen before, right? I go in there in like less than 5 minutes. I'm like, oh, my God. These questions are crazy. But I learned a lot, because if I didn't have the answer, I was reading the answers that were given and learning a ton of stuff. I mean, there is so many things that are just off the wall that will blow your mind. But when you learn it, you're like, oh, this is awesome. It's just, if you're a knowledge geek like me when it comes to SEO or search, it's great. But I was able to contribute quite a bit when I did it, and answer a lot of questions, because I'm a very technical person too. So sure. It was a great experience, and I still occasionally jump in and answer a question or two, but I just don't have time.
Well, and we have people that do the same thing. Matt Storms is one of my mentors.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. I mean, smart cat. I'll tell you that. Based out of Utah, and then now in California.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a challenge, and that's what I look at it too. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's the top contributor community that I'm in there answering questions, but the fun part is when you answer a question, I could be completely wrong, and the person that's asking me the question is, oh, please clarify this, or they'll put me at a challenge. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's kind of cool. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is all the other TCs are there to support the other TCs, because I know when I made some comments, I kept getting a lot of comments from other TCs saying, hey, that was a great answer, or hey, you might want to think about it this way, or, they're there to support other TCs, which is fantastic, because you learn so much, and you have to be open-minded to understand all of it and learn from it. But it was great. It was a good experience.
Well, especially when I came in to the webmaster side where, that's where John Mueller is one of the moderators over there.
Yeah.
And that was a challenge and a half because I spent most of my time in the hacked sites. So I was actually going through and dissecting, running some of my tools and trying to figure out why all these sites were getting hacked.
Right.
Now we get them hacked all the time, and it's kind of like, okay, let's security or other patches for WordPress. Right. But, at the same time I was able to learn how to dissect a hacked website.
Wow, that's cool. I know who to come to now.
Well, not even just that, but, when I was doing Google Flux reports when Panda was around,
right.
It's still around, but now it's, living algorithm that continues to do what it needs to do. But in the beginning, there was all these different things. Well, ranking went up, ranking went down, fluctuation this, fluctuation. But at the same time, I was seeing that not only just in the forums on like Webmaster World or others where the chatter was going on, but I was also able to look at it in the forums, the help forums, and go, oh, now I have something I can go and look at, run some tools like with SEMrush or whatever, and go, I can now figure out, okay, a complete pattern out of like 1,000 sites I just dissected. And go, oh, or even 100 sites. I mean, you're like, oh, they're getting the same problem. What are they doing that's similar? And is my tool picking that up? Or, yeah. So, and then you dive into analytics and web search, webmaster tools. See, now I'm rambling now.
No, it's okay. Now, for our listeners, if you could give out the URL for that forum so people can go check it out. I mean, there's a lot of people that really don't even realize it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically you can just type in type in Google help forums.
Oh, okay.
That's easy. You'll find all of them because basically you were mentioning earlier in the show, that there's a TC for just about every product. If you just type in on Google help forums, you'll get to the main dashboard, and that'll actually have, are you thinking of YouTube? Are you thinking of Google My Business?
Right.
And go on through the list, and then you can choose from the icon of what that topic you want to talk about. And then at that point, read through if there might be somebody already kind of talking about the same problem you're having. And if you can't find something, then just basically click on the button that says new post, then start to type it out as best as you can, the question that you have. And if you've got screenshots or anything else that you want to add to it, the more detail that your post is, the easier it is for us to go through and do the homework and then get back with you. And we do, like I do a site review it takes me about 10, 15 minutes. So not very much time. I just use tools and then I look at what I've already looked at as patterns, and I can kind of gauge, oh yeah, you probably had this. I mean, going back to the timeline of like Moz reports. So if you type in Google algorithm updates in Google, you'll find Moz, and it'll have the entire archive from way back, I think 2000 was when we first started doing that. And then you can kind of pinpoint and use your annotations in your Google Analytics to figure out the rest. So
awesome.
Very cool. Well, if we have somebody listening that says, hey, I got a lot of knowledge about a particular thing in digital marketing, I'd really like to become a top contributor, what advice would you have to them, or, how can they start that process?
Good question.
Sure. And the best thing is to jump out there on that forum, like I said, and start answering questions. Participate in the engagement, just like you would in Google Plus or Facebook or LinkedIn. When you're replying and engaging with those comments, the same thing applies down in the forums.
Yeah.
And if you're wanting to be eventually a rising star or a top contributor, it's the first thing you're going to be seeing is through your education, your knowledge on how you're answering those questions, the engagement I think that you're going to have in the forums, and how you respond from the challenges.
Yeah. So is there a certain level that you have to be, like you have to answer a certain amount of questions before you can jump to that top level contributor, or do you have a certain amount of time, or how does that work?
I think it used to be geared around numbers, because it has the word top contributor,
right.
But at the same time it's more quality over quantity.
Gotcha.
So, and you'll be, if you're answering the quality and people are, the people that are asking the questions are getting the answers, and they're giving you, say, maybe a best answer, which is a little button that says best answer.
Yeah.
Thanking them for the, help that they just did. Google sees that, and the community managers will see that in their dashboard, they're back in as well, just trying to keep track of, okay, hey, here's a rising star, and that's why they call them rising stars. It's like, oh, this guy is awesome.
Did you just turn a fan on or something?
My air conditioner. Let me turn that off.
Sorry. Those of you just tuning in, you're listening to SearchTalkLive.com or Search Talk Live. You can just do that.
You can go to SearchTalkLive.com and check us out. No, for sure. But thank you for listening today. We are joined by William Rock, a Google top contributor, a Google local guide, a Google Plus community moderator. He is all of the above, dropping a lot of knowledge on us today. We really appreciate him joining. If you'd like to get your questions in, you can email us, Robert at Search Talk Live, Caleb at Search Talk Live, or you can hit us up on Twitter. Just use the handle at Search Talk Live and get your questions in for William.
Hashtag Search Talk Live.
Yeah, and you can use hashtag Search Talk Live. We are monitoring those for your questions. We are sponsored by the Robert Palmer family of companies. You can go to robertpalmercompanies.com. Check out everything they have to offer.
Now, if you're an expert in the digital marketing field, don't matter what field you're in, and if it's something you have a unique perspective on, or topic, or if it's something that just you want to talk about, you can. If you're an expert, you can. If you want to be a guest on the show, please hit us up at our emails, either Caleb or Robert at Search Talk Live. We are booked up, like I said, till October. We're probably going to only have about 7 more spots left because we take the holidays off.
Yeah.
So get your requests in. We do have quite a few listeners and people thirsty for knowledge.
Yes.
There you go. Sorry about the air conditioner.
Oh, no, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
So, William, if someone wanted to, they just dive right in, right? Start asking questions, or do they need to talk to one of you first, or?
You just dive in, and that's something else I'm doing right now. Is I've taken on a youth for the summer, and this little youth is basically a geek, total geek. I loved it. Only met him once, but now he's actually more interested in going into the forums and also being a local guide. So for summer, his parents are basically wanting to have a challenge through technology, and I said, okay, let's bring out your technology skill set in the forum. And so that's where I kind of go back to the whole anybody can do it. And so this youth is going to jump in and do the same thing. We've had a few other youths that we've mentored in our forum, and it was just all over the world. So these kids are basically just super smart and jumping in and helping, just like us other geeks that are seasoned, I guess you could say.
Very cool. So, but what is it that they like? If they strive to be a TC, or they're automatically leveling up as they answer questions, or is that something you understand what I'm saying? Like, do they need to let you know, hey, I'm striving to be a TC, or?
Well, no, they don't have to do it at all.
Okay.
The system will actually score that anyway. So how many posts you did. You can go back in your profile by clicking on your icon in the forum, and it will tell you, all the way back to when you started to how many posts that you did at a certain month.
Yeah.
And you can click on that timeline and start to review the pieces that you've actually made comments to. Yeah. But really, it's that simple, guys. It's not like you don't have to sit there and get permission from me or anybody else to go out there and assist. It's a matter of just going out there and sharing your knowledge, because there might be a skill set, like you guys might have a skill set that I don't even have, right? And so now that complements the rest of the team in that forum. That goes back to the end goal, is basically helping the end user find the answers they need. But at the same time, it's a challenge for us as top contributors to do just that, is find that answer and learn from it.
Do you jump around from different areas? Like, do you do some search, or do you do just guides, or what is it?
I do jump around a little bit, but I focus. If I'm going to spend most of my time, it's going to be in web search, because I get a variety. Yeah. It used to be that I was in Webmaster, and I was doing the hack sites or algorithm penalties, right?
Gotcha.
And so after a while, I just got bored. I was like, okay, it's the same thing. People, you got penalized by Panda, or you got penalized with Penguin. You bought links, or you did this, and this, And so I wanted a different challenge, and I think that's where the Google Local Guides for me comes in. So it's different, it's fun.
I see.
And it's not focused around an algorithm.
Yeah.
So what's the most off the wall question you've gotten?
Oh, off the wall question. Boy, I don't know. I've got a lot of them.
Pick one that sticks in your mind.
Questions I can't really say out loud on public.
Yeah.
Well,
are there any trends that you see, like any common questions that you just kind of see that people are really struggling with?
Yeah.
With that, maybe with the local guides or local My Business or whatever it may be.
Sometimes it's just even apps, like the Android apps, they'll call in about like crashing apps, especially during upgrades. And so that's another thing I like to focus on is testing phones. So I had the Nexus 5, now I've got the Nexus 6. And everybody goes, why do you still have the Nexus 6? It's got so many problems. I'm like, well, I'm going to get the 6P, but until I actually learn all the problems in 6, then I'll move to the 6P so that I can actually help all the people.
That's right. Yeah.
And so if I can figure out how to fix or dissect the issue, like for example, on my Nexus 6 right now, if I walk out of my house, take a walk up to the store, and then come back, I have to actually turn my phone completely off and then turn it back on before it finds a new Wi-Fi signal.
Wow.
So like, that's a bad bug,
Yeah.
I'd get annoyed by that. But then, you go back into the forums and 100 people are having that same problem, or 1,000 people are having that same problem. Now it's reported, it's documented in the forums. Now the engineers are kind of paying more of attention to it because they didn't know about it.
Yeah. Very cool. What about in search? What are you seeing in search as far as a most common problem?
More or less, they've got either the hack site symbol in the search and don't know what to do with it, and so that normally would probably go and be forwarded over to Webmaster.
Yeah.
The other one is going to be going back to that Google My Business thing that, hey, I can't change this, and so they're thinking that because we're in the forums that we can change that for them.
Right.
It's easier if they just go and get that claim My Business and then go through the verification process, and now they got full control. But I think that's probably a big one. The other one would be the CAPTCHA message. I don't know if you guys have seen a lot of people saying, hey, I keep getting this CAPTCHA message on my screen from Google. And that's normally due to malware. So basically it's like, okay, how many times is your browser actually pinging Google's search query and it thinks it's an automatic bot or something like that?
Mm-hmm.
We get a lot of those, sometimes from schools. So if you got a school and they're basically on a proxy, one IP, and so basically one computer might have malware, and now it's affecting the rest of the actual, maybe 500 nodes or.
Uh-oh. I think we lost him. Okay.
CAPTCHA. So.
Oh, there he goes.
Okay. We lost you there for a split second. Could you repeat that last sentence?
So basically the CAPTCHA message?
Yeah.
Okay, so CAPTCHA, basically, I don't know where I lost you.
Nodes.
Well, yeah, nodes. You could be a 50, small school, like 20 nodes to 50 nodes, which is basically a computer set. So
right.
If the malware has affected one of the computers in that proxy of that school, we've been finding a lot of people are getting that message for CAPTCHA on all the machines through the school, and it drives the administrator nuts, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I can't get any of my computers to work right. I just keep getting this message, and they can't search the internet. So we get a lot of that. But once we actually go through and troubleshoot it, most of the time it's going to be a piece of malware
right.
on one of the machines, and it is hard to find it, especially at schools or at a corporation. But it's kind of interesting how malware works these days.
Yeah.
That's going to be another one of the hot buttons on the forums that we deal with all the time.
What about WordPress questions?
WordPress all the time. Most people are actually saying they're hacked. And when we ask them about what kind of website, well, we go out and get their URL. We'll ask them the URL. Sometimes they provide it. We'll just go out and check it out. And so the majority of WordPress or even Drupal or Joomla these days has been kind of a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it goes back to content management systems. I mean, you look at the last update for WordPress. They had that last big multimedia push, but then they actually had another update right after it, but it really wasn't a huge media push, so everybody didn't really know about it, but it still shows up in your dashboard. Say, okay, but not everybody hits the update button because they're in fear that the template will break. So it's an interesting thing because I'm not going to update that, but that might have been that SQL injection plugin that would have saved you from getting hacked and your site spreading malware.
Gotcha. Now we're down to about 5 minutes left in the show. If you get your questions in on Twitter, probably the fastest way would be to hashtag Search Talk Live to send us your questions. I'm monitoring it right now, so get your questions in. And then anything else you wanted to add there before we close off the show?
No, I think if you haven't checked it out, check out Local Guides Google Local Guides, and then again, look at Google top contributors. See if that's something that fits for you guys, and get involved. It's a very fun program, and you'll actually end up learning a lot of people that are like-minded if you're in the same industry. Yeah,
and if somebody wants to hit you up on Twitter, where would they reach you at if they had a question?
It would be
not a TC question, but like a hey, what do I need to do? Or something like that.
Just at William Rock, I believe.
Okay.
So
that's pretty easy.
Yeah.
Oh, and you can easily just go and just type in William Rock on Google, and you'll find everything. You'll find all my accounts, my LinkedIn, my Facebook. It's branded.
If somebody puts in William Rocks, does that work?
William Rock. Well, William Rock. Hey, if you actually type in Rockstar, it might even show up too.
Oh, hey, there you go.
Awesome.
Very cool.
All right, so I want to thank you for being on the show today.
Yes.
Really, really
Absolutely
appreciate
awesome.
it. And you were kind of filling in for because we had a last minute cancellation, and I really appreciate you taking the time to jump in here and be on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for your knowledge and sharing it.
You're very welcome, and hopefully we'll do this again with some other topic.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. Would love it.
All right, guys, you are listening to Search Talk Live. We are here every Tuesday at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. I highly suggest, like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, sign up to our newsletter. There's no cost. We're not going to try and sell you anything.
Nope.
We are knowledge only, outgoing.
Yep.
That's it.
Might even give you something for free.
Yeah. There's great benefit to that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. And Caleb, did you want to bring anything up about the show?
About the show?
Yeah.
No, man. Yes, I'm expecting my first child here pretty soon. So
I am excited for
numero uno. Some of y'all don't care. Others are like, oh, Lord help him, because you know what's awaiting me. But yes, so we're ready to go at any moment now. So I might be here next week. I might not. I know we have a fill-in scheduled for the first couple of weeks of July.
Yep.
Because
if we make it that far.
If we make it that far.
Yeah.
But in the next few weeks, you might hear somebody else's voice on the show with Robert. So don't be alarmed. I'm still here.
Yep.
I'm just now taking care of another child, or of my
Another?
first child. My first child. I hope my wife didn't hear that. She's like, what? No, I have my first child, and we're really excited about that. And we're going to be welcoming a little baby girl.
Yeah, man, that's exciting. And we know you're a Steelers fan, so you're going to...
Yes, huge Steelers fan. Go Steelers. Football's around the corner. So she's going to be decked out in Steelers gear, that's for sure.
Yeah. So the anything are you nervous? Are you excited?
Extremely nervous. I'm extremely nervous, but I'm ready to go. I got everything I need. I'm sure ready for sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Ready to get this thing going.
So when Caleb is out, we have Matt Weber from Roar Media.
He's been on the show before.
Yes, he has. He's actually been a guest.
Yeah, we talked about retargeting. If you haven't heard that episode, go to Search Talk Live, find it, listen to it. It's awesome.
Yeah, he's a national trainer for Google AdWords. So he goes around, travels all over the world, and trains people or corporations on how to use AdWords.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
But tune in next week. We have Olga, social media expert.
Yes.
From SEM Rush.
Yes.
And she's going to be on the show next week. You guys don't want to miss it. If you want to learn how to use social media for your business, how to leverage it and make it work for you, bring clients in and maybe bring visitors to your site or whatever you're wanting to do, Olga's going to cover it next week. Again, thank you for listening to Search Talk Live. And visit searchtalklive.com. Hit us up on Twitter at Search Talk Live. You can get Caleb
at CJ_MCE.
And I am at Robert O'Haver. Thanks again for listening to the show, and thank you for your support. We'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Search Talk Live is a presentation of the Robert Palmer family of companies.